Before you form an opinion, hear this. 184 police officers die by suicide every year in America. More than die in the line of duty. Their PTSD rate is 5 times higher than yours. Their divorce rate is among the highest of any profession. And the people they swore to protect are now telling them they shouldn't exist. Half the country calls them heroes. The other half calls them the problem. But nobody asks them how they're doing. This isn't a political video. This is a human one. This is the dark truth about wearing the badge. You're 22 years old. You grew up watching cop shows. The good guys chase the bad guys. Justice wins. The badge means something. Maybe your dad was a cop. Maybe your uncle. Maybe you just wanted a job where you could help people, real people, in real danger. Not behind a desk, not on a screen, on the street, face to face. So you apply. You pass the written test, the physical test, the psychological evaluation, the polygraph, the background check. 6 months at the academy. You learn law, defensive tactics, de-escalation, firearms, driving, first aid. You're 23 years old, and they hand you a badge, a gun, and the legal authority to take someone's freedom or their life. No other job in America gives a 23-year-old that kind of power, and no other job holds them accountable for it the way this one does. Your first year is called your probationary period. You ride with a field training officer who teaches you everything the academy didn't, like how to talk to a man holding a knife who's having a psychotic episode, like how to tell a mother her son was killed, like how to handcuff someone who's screaming and spitting and telling you they hope your kids die. And within 6 months, you see things that most people will never see in their entire lives. You find a child locked in a closet, covered in bruises, who flinches when you reach for her. You respond to a domestic violence call, and the woman with the black eye tells you to leave because she loves him. You pull over a car at 2 a.m., and the driver reaches under the seat, and for 1.5 seconds, you don't know if he's grabbing his registration or a gun. And in that 1.5 seconds, everything collapses into a single decision. Shoot or don't shoot. Right or wrong. Career or coffin. And then you go home. And your wife asked how your day was. And you say, fine. The mental health data tells the real story. Police officers experience PTSD and depression at rates 5 times higher than civilians. A CNA report found that 184 law enforcement officers die by suicide every year, more than are killed on duty. Of those who died, 34% had depression, 27% had PTSD, 46% were dealing with some form of mental health crisis, because the culture doesn't allow it. 60% of officers believe their peers would not disclose mental health struggles. If you ask for help, you risk losing your firearm. Losing your firearm means losing your job. Losing your job means losing your pension. The same system that traumatizes you punishes you for acknowledging the trauma. It's the same across every tough profession. And the public isn't helping. Police resignations increased 47% from 2019 to 2022. The NYPD loses roughly 200 officers per month. In Goodhue, Minnesota, the police chief resigned. His entire force followed. The Defund the Police movement sent a message. You are the problem, not the system, not the politicians. You are the person who puts on the vest at 5 a.m. and drives toward danger while everyone else drives away. One officer said, "My daughter came home crying because her classmates told her that her dad kills people." And some officers are the problem. Misconduct is real. Brutality is real. Racism in policing is real. The profession has earned some of the criticism it receives, but the vast majority of officers absorb the hatred meant for the worst. They spend their shifts doing wellness checks and taking reports, and it's destroying them. 83% of officers say their mental health impacts their work. 69% report high levels of fatigue. Alcohol use among police is significantly elevated. One study found that increased alcohol use was associated with 4.45 times greater odds of suicidal ideation. Officers drink because they can't talk. They can't talk because talking means weakness. And weakness in a profession built on authority and control is an existential threat. And the pay doesn't compensate for any of this. The median police officer salary is $72,280 per year. That's for a job that requires you to work nights, weekends, holidays, and overtime, often mandatory. It requires you to be on call mentally 24 hours a day because you can't unsee what you've seen. That requires you to make split-second life or death decisions that will be reviewed in slow motion by people who had months to analyze them. $72,000 for that. And when you go home, if you go home, the job follows you. You sit in restaurants with your back to the wall. You scan every room for exits. You watch people's hands. You flinch at loud noises that other people don't hear. Your partner says you've changed. You have year 1, you were the person who wanted to help. Year 5, you're the person who sees threat everywhere. Year 10, you're the person who doesn't feel anything anymore. Not because you've healed, but because feeling became too expensive. The divorce rate among police officers is among the highest of any profession. The domestic problems come from the impossibility of living in two worlds. The world where you see the worst of humanity, and the world where your wife is asking you to remember to pick up milk. You can't bridge those worlds. So one of them starts to collapse, usually the one that matters most. And the suicide clusters tell you everything about how deep this goes. In November 2023, 4 employees died by suicide within 24 hours. In Denver, 3 officers in early 2024. In Texas, 4 deputies in 6 weeks. In Long Island, 3 in the same period. These aren't isolated incidents. The FBI now tracks law enforcement suicide clusters because the pattern has become too consistent to ignore. And yet, despite all of this, officers keep showing up. They put on the vest. They answer the call. They run toward the sound that everyone else runs from. Not because they're fearless, because they promised. Years pass. You're 42 now. 19 years on the force. You've been shot at twice. You've made 3,000 arrests. You've delivered 2 babies on the side of a highway. You've held a dying man's hand in an alley at 4 a.m. You've been called a hero and a monster in the same week, sometimes by the same person. Your back hurts. Your marriage didn't survive. Then one evening, your son, he's 16, comes downstairs. He says, "Dad, I've been thinking, I want to be a cop. Like you." And everything stops because you see yourself. 22 years old. The badge. The promise. The belief that the job meant something. And it does. It still does. But it also means the nights you sat in the driveway for 20 minutes because you couldn't bring the street inside. You want to say, the badge will give you purpose. But it will take things from you that you can't name until they're gone. But he's looking at you with the same eyes you had at 22. The ones that believed the job could fix the world. So you pull out your badge. You hold it in your hand. And you say, "If you wear this, son, don't ever forget who you were before you put it on." And the cycle continues.